Gather round, friends, new and old, and welcome to the POWWOW podcast. I am your host, David.
And I am your host, Philip.
And we are here this week. It is finally August, best month of the year for so many reasons. I love the weather, and other things happen in August that are fun. We'll get to that. Phil, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. August is a turn of events for me. It's a time that I've associated with change in my life. That's both the time I moved to California and the time that I left California. And a lot of big events have happened in August. So I'm excited for what this year's August brings for me. Now, how about you? Are you looking forward to anything in particular?
Well, no, nothing in particular. I'm going on a trip pretty soon. So that is something, and then there's a little small matter of my birthday, which is something else.
What?
And what? You
Say it
didn't
ain't
know?
so.
Yes, it's coming up, and yeah, I'm going to Spain pretty soon. So you'll be hearing hopefully a couple episodes recorded from Spain. It's very exciting, but in the meantime. I think we should just cut right to the chase.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Cynthia, you're joining us for the first time on POWWOW Podcast.
For the first time.
And for a fun interview. You're a unique person who I thought would be so much fun to have on for an interview of sorts and talk about some of the things that get people excited, get you excited more than anyone. Yes. It seems we're going to be talking about. What would you say is your passion, Cynthia?
Existing, but mostly skydiving, but existing too.
Existing while falling out of the sky,
living through the entire situation.
Through that.
Yes.
Exactly.
Right.
Absolutely.
Living is ideally how you come out of it. And you are someone who's done dozens of jumps at this point.
Yeah,
when I first met you, you'd already done a couple.
Yep, I'm at 60 now.
60 jumps, yeah. That's
wow.
Yeah, I think when we met, I had only done maybe 12?
You'd only done a couple.
Yeah.
I think you had done 9 or something when we first met. Maybe not even that, because you could only start when you were 18, right? And we met when you were 18 and 1 month.
In a few months.
So no, you must have done fewer than that, surely. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't matter. You were working towards your qualification at that state, your license or whatever it is.
I was still training, doing all the training for it and all the certifications, all that. And then I took you out. I don't even think I was certified yet. I think I still had to do my own solo jumps.
No, you were not at that stage, but you. The story is you somehow convinced me to agree that by the end of semester 2, that after the semester ended, I would go skydiving with you, and I agreed to that, and you held me to it.
I did, yeah, in the middle of the desert, middle of nowhere, kind of sketchy, but it worked out. Yeah. You're still here, I'm still here. Made it through it.
We are. Okay, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about skydiving. It's not every day you meet someone who's done 60 jumps.
60.
We've got some very hopefully exciting questions for you. We're very keen to pick your brain here.
Ooh, not much to pick.
You're always focused on skydiving, and so there you go.
I'm just
well, try not to pick too much, because there might be nothing left by the time.
Yeah, there'll be some steam coming up.
Well, Cynthia, thank you for joining us. My first question. When was the first time you knew you wanted to jump? Was there a moment, a movie scene? Maybe Tom Cruise inspired you via one of his Mission Impossible missions. When did you know you had this desire to even begin?
I don't think it was from a movie or anything. I just wanted to go. It was one of those things I've wanted to do since I was 12 years old. And I remember looking up the skydive qualifications for each different state, seeing what the youngest age you could do skydiving was. And some places were 16 with parents' permission, but my parents wouldn't sign off on it. They said, you have to wait till you're 18 and then you can sign your own life away. So I wanted to do it since I was 12 years old. I remember looking it up on the big dinosaur computer we had, looking at the different states, being is this okay? But I don't know where I even got the want to do it from. Yeah, I have no idea.
So, well, then let's go to it. How was your first jump? Do you even remember it? 60 jumps now in? Do you remember your first?
Absolutely. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever been through. I remember putting on like my parachute, because I never did a tandem jump. My first jump was a solo jump. So putting on the
Whoa,
parachute.
that's pretty unusual, right?
Yeah, some places allow you to do it. I had to do a 6-hour ground training course. And, I put on my the jumpsuit, my stupid little cone goggles that fit my glasses under them, a little helmet that had a radio in it, my the parachute, and getting on the plane. I was shaking. I was so scared. I was waving at my dad like it was the last time I'd ever see him. The flight up was like 20-ish minutes, and I was looking out the window. I was like, this is kind of nice. And I heard them yell door and smack the door. It pops open. You hear that wind and the gust of air, and my stomach just sank. Like, could not breathe. They were like, okay, let's go. I was like, let's just go back down. That seems like a safer bet. But it was absolutely
And you
terrifying.
went back down.
I did.
Really, really quickly.
Very quickly. Yeah. But it was terrifying.
Yeah. Was there ever a thought, maybe even a real chance, that your chute might not open? I mean, heaven forbid, but was there ever a moment in time where you're like,
actually, my most recent jump, there was no question that it was like not opening, but I couldn't find the thing to pull. And I was sitting back there for a few seconds, like searching around for it. I was like, oh, shit, it's not there. I mean, eventually I found it. I threw it out, and I was all unstable. So my lines twisted up pretty bad, and I was being shaken everywhere. But I haven't had any too scary encounters. Luckily, no bag locks or anything terrifying like that.
You once told me that, well, you explained to me that in order to, because you have your main chute and then you have your reserve chute, but in order to use your reserve chute, you have to, like, so if you open your main chute and it's not like opening properly or whatever, and you have to use your reserve chute, you first have to disconnect, like you have to basically rip yourself off the main chute, and then you start falling again.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're already past the altitude that you're like supposed to open at, and then you have to like disconnect, like just agree with yourself, well, this is not working, I'm going to start falling again, and I'm going to hope that the one chute I have left is the one that's going to save my life, and then you pull the reserve chute.
Yeah, that luckily has never happened. I've never had to pull my reserve yet. I'm sure it's going to happen. But you start falling, your bag will lock, or sometimes there's a malfunction. There could be a hole in the parachute. Some lines can just be disconnected completely, and so you won't have proper control of your parachute. You have your reserve handles like right here on your rib cage. So you have to pull one, and it pretty much just disconnects the parachute, gets rid of it. You start falling again, you pull the other one, and fingers crossed that one works.
How often does that happen?
Not very often. I've only seen it once, but I've heard a couple people, saying, oh, I had my first malfunction, I had my first cutaway. And those are people who have done it like over 500 times, and so right. As long as you're packing your stuff right, doing your gear checks, it's not likely to happen.
Yeah, that's it. So what is, just from a complete layman's term, I have no idea. I've never skydove? Skydiven?
Skydiven?
I'm not entirely sure.
Skydiven.
I'm pretty sure that's the
I
grammatically
hope it's
correct.
skydiven.
Yeah, skydiven. I've never skydiven, participated in that, but it is something that I'm looking forward to do at a time when I am accepting of my own death. But I'm curious, why is it in the order that it's in? Meaning, if I have a reserve chute and you're saying that you had to like look for your main pull system, what's stopping you from going to the secondary, the reserve emergency pull in case of emergency chute first? If you're like, why even bother with my first chute if I know where the second one is?
It's like one of those things where if you have your reserved pulled, you have to take it out and have it repacked. And the nearest place that can do that
so it's just laziness is what it is.
Clearly. I was like, I'd rather almost die than have to drive 2 hours out of my way to get this thing repacked right now. I was like, I still have some altitude. I'll be fine.
Do you pack your own main chute, or is that something you still have to learn to do?
I pack my own main chute, which is terrifying. I feel like I should not be trusted to do that. But I've been told that it's like shoving a trash bag into it. It wants to come out. It's like, 200 feet of fabric in this backpack that's no bigger than a school backpack. It's like, it's going to come out, but it just depends on how nicely it's going to come out. and how gently it will open.
Have you ever had I suppose you probably have had you've already told us a story of you jostling in the air, jockeying around with an improper pull. Have you ever had a rough landing where maybe you pulled a little bit too late and you hurt an ankle, or you maybe might have broken a toe or something?
Oh, I'm nothing broken, thank goodness.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, my first landing by myself, since I hadn't done the tandem, that was kind of rough. I slid in and I stood up because I was so excited. A big gust of wind caught my parachute and just dragged me across the entire landing strip. And it was, all the dead plants. I was getting my legs all cut up. I had a big cut in my hand, but I was happy to be alive. I was like, I will take a cut in my hand over, I guess, dying any day.
Over splat.
Over splat, yeah.
What was the most interesting location where you did, like, have you ever landed in a location that was maybe not where you're supposed to land, or somewhere just interesting?
Yeah, I've landed, it was out at Madeira. We have, the hangars, our big drop zone, and the airstrip. And across the street, there's an almond factory that's all gated in, and they just have fields and fields of almonds. And I jumped out way too far. The wind wasn't carrying me back. I knew, I was like, well, I have to make this alternate landing. I have to find a spot. And luckily I did. So I landed behind this almond factory. I got up and I was kind of just sitting there looking around. I was like, I have no idea where I am. I saw my instructor's little Prius come flying down the road. She got the gate code for the almond factory. She's like, are you okay? I was like, I'm fine. I don't know where I am. Just confused.
Yeah, you landed and got yourself a snack. It was perfect.
I was like, this is nice.
I remember when we went, we landed obviously in the proper zone. I was attached to somebody, but I remember when we were leaving, we were driving away. We passed this house, and there was this house that in the front yard, like a dog would be, there was just a pig.
Oh, yeah.
And this person had this giant pig as like their pet in their front yard.
That guy was cool.
It was very
pet him every
exciting.
single day.
Yeah.
I had to walk from the bus station to the drop zone, and every single time I would pass that house, there was this pig, and he would follow me along the fence line. I'd give him little pets. That was the best part of skydiving. Who even cares about the rest of it? Just that pig.
All right, Cynthia, I'm very intrigued by this next question. What is it? And it's probably going to be the most boring scientific answer ever. But how the hell do you know when to pull the chute? Because I can't, is it like once you reach okay, if you're looking to your left and you see the top of that mountain and you're kind of level with it, that's when you do it? Is it like once you pass through clouds? Is there, or is it just like, eyeball it. If you feel like it, then go for it.
Well, we have the altimeters. So that's a big,
okay, so there's something that you're like looking for, and then it just tells you like pull chute now.
Yeah, it's like open now or you die, It's just like a little watch. I have a digital one, and it's hooks onto your hands. It's just like a watch, and you look on it, and it has numbers on it, and the numbers are your altitude. Okay, well, there's other ones. There's like there's circle ones, and they're funny because there's a bunch of white, and then there's like yellow, orange, and red, and you don't want to get to red. That's all I've been told about those ones. They're like, don't do that. Try to stay in the yellow. But mine one just tells me what altitude I'm at, and I usually pull around 4,000 or 5,000, depending on how much time I want to be in the air.
Right. If you can recognize people's faces from the ground, you've waited too long.
You've waited too long.
Yeah, don't follow the revolutionary rules. If you see the whites of their eyes, then go.
Yeah, you're like,
Would you say that there's like this weird this like unnatural / natural thing inside the human brain, that it's like this balance between like life and death that's so exhilarating? Is that why you do this so much? Because I love thrills so much. Like, I love roller coasters. I love bungee jumping.
See, I hate roller coasters.
I've gone skydiving once, and I love that too.
What?
That's what I find, like, I don't know, that unknown like equinox of like life and death.
I mean, it's definitely one of those things where I've been called crazy so many times. They're like, why are you jumping out of a perfectly good plane? And it's like, yeah, I know that doing this at any time I could die, but I don't know. The first time I did it, I thought it was going to be a one and done. I thought I was just going to have fun. And the adrenaline rush was like no other. And I was absolutely in love with it. I was like, this is something I want to keep doing. And I don't know. I mean, those dreams when you're falling and then you wake up?
No, I don't know those dreams. I've never had those.
What are those dreams?
Maybe a nightmare,
I've
but never
had
a
those
dream.
dreams.
Okay, those nightmares. I have not had one of those since I've been skydiving. It's just like,
Wow.
yeah, ever since I went skydiving, never had those dreams again or nightmares. But it's just one of those things where it's so terrifying, but it's peaceful. Like once you open your parachute and you're up in the air, it's very rewarding.
Yeah, that's the best.
And
That's
nice,
gotta be.
I remember the first time I went bungee jumping, the first instant when I was falling off the platform, I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Like I thought like this, I'm dying. I'm gonna fall to my death. And then I realized, wait, no. I just remembered I have a cable attached to my foot. So I was like, oh, okay, no, it's fine.
Snap,
but then the second and third time I did it, it was strangely normal. I was like, oh, I can do this. This is normal. I'm jumping off a platform 100 feet above the air, or not 100 feet. Sorry, it was like 70 meters or something. So 200 feet.
I'm American. I don't know what 70
meters.
Meters
it was like no big deal. And I think it's probably the same skydive. The first time you fall out of that plane, it's like, well, and then you remember like, oh wait, no, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
It's like, oh, I'm right here. It's like, yeah, this is normal.
Yeah. So Cynthia, to kind of piggyback off of that with bungee jumping and everything else, could you ever go, I mean, you mentioned already that you don't like roller coasters, which is fascinating to me, but could you ever go rock climbing, tightrope walking, maybe trapezing, and would it give you the same sensation? Have you ever had the urge to do other things like this, or is it just strictly skydiving?
I've definitely wanted to do rock climbing, and now where I am in San Luis Obispo, there's a lot of people who do go out and do rock climbing. There's a lot of great spots out there, so I'm trying to get in touch with some people who do that and try to do rock climbing. I think that'd be amazing.
Find a crew,
yeah, a little rock climbing crew. And
the rock crew.
And yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, I've never thought about tightrope. I have the worst balance in the world. I could just walk normally and fall over. So I'm like, I feel like I could do that above a cliff as long as I have a parachute. Like, no biggie on that one. But my next
make
thing
it like
I
3 steps and then all of a sudden start
I'm
pulling.
just like, oh, I'm falling. But the next thing I wanted to do was scuba diving, actually, which is kind of complete opposite from skydiving.
Yeah, completely. Wow.
I want to go shark cage diving.
Oh, I do too. Dude, let's go.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, Cynthia, you and I went bungee jumping together here in the Netherlands.
Yes,
remember that?
I almost lost my shoe. I do remember that. Over the ocean. But I would say the bungee jumping was like kind of scarier to me than skydiving, actually.
Wow. Because
That's weird, but okay.
I get it. The security of feeling your own safety net with the backpack. Like there's something to at least you're still strapped in.
Yeah, you have 2 parachutes, right? And then with that, like I said, if you're falling and you just hear a snap, you're like, what you gonna do at that point? Just dive into the ocean below you, I guess.
David, any last questions for Cynthia?
No, I think that's it. I think we should move on. Cynthia, are you willing to come back and play a little game with us?
Absolutely, yeah.
Fantastic. Let's get to the game. This episode of POWWOW Podcast is sponsored by Sides.
Meet Sides. SIDES, an app that helps you take the law into your own hands.
Turn ordinary agreements into binding contracts in seconds. Then if a dispute arises, Sides will step in to resolve it for you.
Wait, Phil, that was supposed to be my line.
What did we agree to in the contract?
I don't know. I guess we can use Sides to settle this dispute, because each dispute costs a small one-time fee.
And if you win, which I will, it's all awarded back to you.
Sign up now and get 16% off for a limited time only.
This is the mini segment. You will be missed.
You will.
David, what are you going to miss this time around?
You will be missed, youth. More gray hairs come in, and I'm more and more tired on a daily basis. I get angrier and angrier at things that used to just pass me by. I roll my eyes 5 times as often as I used to, which was already a lot. Yeah. Youth, you will be missed.
David, I buy in bulk because it's more feasible and I like to be prepared, and prepared means never running out, but I digress. I must say goodbye to my XXL large pack of Q-tips Over the years we've been together, we have both changed so much. Me mentally, you disheveled physically, through no fault of your own. But I look forward to going back to our relationship, as Harry Styles put it so eloquently, as it was, because I bought a new pack. But for now, Q-Tip Value Box, who I have come to cherish, you will be missed. So we gently touched on this right at the beginning of the episode.
Gently.
Gently, ever so gently, with our left pinky, just so tenderly. But it deserves a lot. It deserves the whole hand. You know what? I'm going to fully cup this subject because, David, it's your friggin' birthday. Well, it will be your birthday tomorrow as of this recording, but by the time this episode releases, you will be an older man. How are you doing, David?
I'm feeling like an older man.
yes, as the mini segment.
I think the listening public deserves to know, though, that you needed reminding.
Okay.
Shamefully needed reminding that this was capital. You know, I wouldn't have even reminded you. I just would have let you. I would have let you just suffer the shame of forgetting that it was going to be my birthday and doing this once more, which we did for your birthday and we did last year for my birthday, etc. But because 3 months ago you sent me a gift and you said don't unwrap it until it comes time for your birthday and then we'll do it on the podcast. So I was like, well, shit, I'm gonna have to remind him so that we can do the gift thing that he planned 3 months ago and then forgot about.
Well, don't be totally disingenuous. I planned for forgetting. So therefore I can't forget if I planned on not forgetting.
No. I'm still gonna I deserve to give you shit for this. So
yes, absolutely. Well, you know what? I knew myself best.
Few things that I like as much as giving you all the shit.
And
it's my birthday.
It is your birthday, so absolutely. Happy birthday. Let's get to the star of the attraction. Let's see how good or how bad I did on your birthday. Please, David, I sent this package, as you mentioned, 3 months ago, so I'm hoping it hasn't died yet. Just kidding.
I left this under my window in the box that it was shipped in.
Mm-hmm.
And I left my window open one day, and it was pouring down with rain, like the heaviest rain I think I've ever seen in this country. And the box got a little damp, and I didn't know what was inside it. So I asked a undisclosed third party, please check what's inside and then remove it from the wet box and whatever, and make sure it's not something that's going to get damaged if it stays damp. And so they moved it into a plastic bag or a box, and I'm pretty sure what I've got here is that box. But there's a chance that this is just some other box and that this is not the gift and I'll have to go keep looking for it. But I think this is the box.
Well, if it's more expensive than the gift I gave you, then it's definitely what I intended to send you.
Of course. Okay, shall I open it?
Please go on forth, my child. I will narrate this. He unwraps it. It's in a shoebox-like package. The first of the gifts, or maybe all of them, are inside of
They're all in this bag, I think.
They're all inside of a grocery bag, plastic bag. Okay. He looks inside. He pulls forth from the bag the first item.
It's a book.
Yes.
And it's called Save the Cat. Is this the gift?
This is one of the gifts. Yes. Now
okay,
that's
all right, so I've got the right box. That's the important thing. So it says Save the Cat! ! The last book on screenwriting that you'll ever need.
So that's Blake my real
Snyder.
Gift.
This is not a paid promotion.
No, it's not. But I thought, you know what? That might be a logical gift. I thought you might be able to use it. I know that you've dabbled in screenwriting, so I thought, hey, you know what? Let's give you something, some study material if wanted.
All right. Well, I do. I have dabbled, and I care to dabble more and do more. So I'll have to learn how to read, but. But I'm sure I will get lots of use out of it. It's a very thoughtful gift. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then now we have, oh, wow. A T-shirt in the right size.
Yes.
Delightful. And it is the OG Scooby-Doo mystery machine with all the characters of Scooby-Doo inside. looking terrified at, well, currently me, since I'm the one in front of the t-shirt. But yeah, very nice.
Yes, don't wear that when
This
trying to
man
get a
knows I
date.
love Scooby-Doo.
I do. As you've mentioned many a time on the podcast, we had an entire podcast dedicated to it. Shameless plug. Make sure you go back and listen to Scooby-Doo versus the World.
This is there's a lot of things in this.
Yes, there is. Now, what is this one? What is this next one? As I see and I recognize this packaging.
It is Men's Health magazine.
And
on the front
who
cover,
graces the cover of this magazine?
The front cover is Jared Leto.
Your favorite! Your absolute favorite actor of all time.
My absolute favorite, yes.
You can read while watching Morbius in the background now, David. You are so welcome.
Face. I hate his face.
But do you love his abs? Is the real question.
He's just got this like blue steel look on his face, and it's bothering me. You know, one day I'm gonna get cast in a movie with Jared Leto, and he's gonna like someone's gonna discover all these podcast episodes, and I'm gonna have to explain it on Fallon tonight. I'll be like, yeah, I mean, it was a different time. I didn't know. I'm sorry.
And lastly,
a card? No, a photo. I'm confused. A photo. Phil, happy birthday, David. Holding up a sign saying happy birthday, David, in front of a wall painted with the Scooby-Doo characters. I'll show, maybe we'll post this on Instagram.
Yes.
There you go.
And David, if you will look closely at the shirt I am wearing underneath the sign, it is, of course, a Miss Frizzle. My alliance to the Magic School Bus has not been lost. I made sure that even though I placed it, it is your birthday indeed, I will have my say, damn it.
Is this a fridge magnet?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
yes,
okay,
it is.
cool.
So that way you have it in posterity. The image that I have given you, it will now remain in posterity forever and ever on a fridge of your selection.
On a fridge of my selection.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. I'll choose the fridge very carefully.
Please do. Maybe one of these days we can have our warring T-shirts on. Yours of the Magic School Bus, or sorry, yours
absolutely.
Of Scooby-Doo and mine of the Magic School Bus.
Hey, maybe you should come visit me and we can do that.
Hey, you know what a good idea. So there we go. Well, happy birthday, David. I went for all different variations of gifts.
You really covered everything here.
I tried to go funny. I tried to
my
go
loves,
diss.
My hates.
Yes,
and
every single. Absolutely. So happy birthday, David. Happy birthday to you.
Welcome back, Cynthia. We're ready to play a game with you, but first, we've already gotten to know your skydiving habits and weird obsessions with thrills, but we want to get to know you a little bit. I will admit my question has something to do with skydiving, but Phil has two questions because he doesn't know you very well. I know you very well, so I only get one, but Phil, take it away.
Yeah, Cynthia, what is a meal or food you could eat once a day for the rest of your life?
Tacos. 100% tacos.
Tacos. Excellent selection. Now, would any of those ever be like a breakfast taco? Or are we just talking like chicken and beef?
No, breakfast tacos. I do like egg tacos, the chicken tacos. I don't care. I just like tacos. Tacos for every meal. You can never go wrong.
Last time I saw you, we got tacos for dinner.
We got tacos. I was like, across the street, that's the best place. I don't know where it was, in San Luis Obispo, just some little place, you know. I was like, cheap tacos, let's go get
the cheaper the better for tacos. Let's all be honest.
That's true.
Not always. There's some great places, though, all over California, but in San Diego, man, I've had some of the best tacos there. Okay, Cynthia, the apocalyptic war is upon us, and the military has been decimated. Someone has to halo jump behind enemy lines for a covert assignment. There are only 2 members of the resistance with skydiving training still alive. You and Tom Cruise. Who should take on the mission?
Ooh.
Absolutely me. 100%. Have you seen Tom Cruise? He's out of it. He's old.
Dude is old.
He's old. Flabby. I don't know. I saw him in Top Gun Maverick. There's not a lot of flab. Not a lot of flab, but he is old.
No, but that beach scene, like, it's not flabby, but it's clearly like the dude is clearly past his 60th birthday and aging.
Wow, you guys are tough on a 60-plus-year-old. If I'd looked anything
no,
like him,
he looks great for 60.
well, you guys are you guys are
460.
taking him to the beach. All right,
See,
my
I
last
have
question.
All that 100% me. I could totally outbeat
Cynthia's got
Tom
youth.
Cruise.
She's got 60 jumps in the last 4 years.
Cynthia's got 60 jumps. Tom Cruise is 60. That's where that's what the story comes down to. All right, Cynthia, my last question here. Do you have a worst first date story?
Oh boy.
You know what this is, David? This is the, should I tell this? Is this good enough for public? Am I going to embarrass myself? That's what's going on in her mind. So she does have one. She's hesitant and she's like,
or she has more than one.
The options. Yeah, she could have more than one. You're right.
I don't think it's as bad as some people's first dates. I've heard some horror stories, but
okay.
I think it's definitely, it was in high school and I couldn't drive.
Okay.
The guy I was going on the date couldn't drive, so his mom was taking us. And
okay.
It's cute. You're young, you're going on a date. But we went to his dermatology appointment together. And I waited in the...
Whose idea?
He had an appointment and he figured that he could do his doctor's appointment, like pick me up, do his doctor's appointment, and then go somewhere after that. So I was just in the waiting room, hanging out, waiting for him to get out of his appointment. He comes out.
My dude.
And then we went
How
to...
How attractive must this guy have been? Like, what kind of pull does a guy have to be like, you know what? I'm going to make you wait, drive with my mom, wait out in the waiting room with my mom, and freaking you enjoy yourself reading Men's Health and just and sit out there while I get stuff done. What in the hell? This guy must have been a young freaking Zac Efron.
It wasn't even that. It was just, I liked him and I was not a cute high schooler. I wore like the baggy hoodies and the sweatpants. My hair was always in like this crummy ponytail. I looked trashy and I was like, I thought he was super cute and he liked me. He asked me out. I was like, I'll sit through this doctor's appointment in the waiting room. So we did. And then afterwards we went and saw a movie and his mom sat right behind us. And then after that, we went to Wiener Schnitzel with his mom.
Topping it all off with the wiener.
Jesus. Did he pay for Wiener Schnitzel? If you're going to go to Wiener Schnitzel, I'd hope that he'd paid for that.
His mom did.
No! God!
I'm along for the ride here. Phil feels like he's really invested in how this date went.
It's because this could have been me. My mom was very invested in my life, and I knew even when yes, she drove me on a date once to a date, and I remember it. But God damn, I did not have the game to get somebody to go on a doctor's date with me, and then on top of that, take them to Wiener Schnitzel. Wiener Schnitzel. I don't care what kind of subconscious psyche games you're playing. That is just not a good date. I've never taken an adult or anybody else to Wiener Schnitzel. Did he get a kiss?
I mean, we dated for 1.5 years, so.
Oh, God. You're a saint.
I hope he followed that up with some better dates.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
God.
Maybe.
My God,
all right.
That takes the cake, Cynthia. Bravo.
That is a great story. That is good content. Thank you so much, Cynthia.
You. God.
Let's I'm glad you could suffer with me.
Oh, Phil suffered. I think he just about had a heart attack.
It was like in the back of my memory. Like that's the stuff you would bring out to a therapist one day, you know?
Yeah, I bet that's freaking that's repressed. I can imagine. I'm depressed over your repression.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Let's play a game. Phil has come up with a game for us. Phil, take it away.
Yes. So what the game is going to be called for my iteration of this game is going to be called Sky, Fly, or Die. Yes, my one of the most controversial games I've ever made yet. It's giving you a name And then you two have to determine whether or not the name fits into Sky, a famous skydiver, Fly, a famous pilot, or a dead person. One of the three. And so we will first start out with you, Cynthia, with the first name, Colby Kaye. Is that?
Hold on a second.
Yes.
Hold on a second. So I'm guessing if the answer happens to be Fly or Sky, I'm guessing none of those people will be dead, since then that would also count as a dead person.
I will say die is the last category, meaning that the priority is Sky or Fly. So if they fit into that more prominently, then that's where they will be placed.
Got it.
There's a possibility that a dead person would also be featured in one of the others. Okay, here we go. Cynthia, your first name, Colby Kaye, Sky, Fly, or Die?
I'm going to go with Fly.
She's going to go with Fly, a famous pilot. David.
I mean, Colby Kaye sounds like a yippee Kaye. I don't know. It feels like something you might yell when you jump out of a plane. I'm going to go with Sky.
Sky. Well,
guy yells his own name when he jumps out. Colby Kaye!
Well, she is a very famous musician. I'm sure that you can find her in other things, but she did jump out with our friends over at Skydive Newport in Rhode Island and featured the entire event in her music video for the song Live It Up. Apparently, it's a catchy tune with a great video. So, David does indeed get on the board with the first name with Sky. Let's go to the number 2 name on this list. We'll go to you here, David. Charles Lindbergh. Charles Lindbergh, Sky, Fly, or Die?
It's too sophisticated to be like if your name is Charles Lindbergh and you're a skydiver, like a regular skydiver, I feel like you go by Chuck or something. So I'm going to go with Fly. Sounds like a pilot.
Fly. Cynthia, where are you going for Charles Lindbergh?
I'm going to go with Die.
She's going to go with Die. Now, Charles Lindbergh is indeed dead. However, he was an American aviator famous for making the first solo transatlantic airplane flight. The flight from New York to Paris in May 1927 took over 33 hours to cover and was longer than any other flight attempted. Charles Lindbergh, meaning that David has a 2-point lead to Cynthia's 0.
You said he was dead.
He is dead, but he is more prominently known as a pilot. And trust me, that list is short, so I needed to edge it out.
Who's more prominently known for being dead? Like
it is an argument. I will give you that.
Hey, I made that argument before we started.
Oh yeah, I knew them. They died. It's like that's it. That's all they're known for.
That's fair. We will review the rules of this game at a later point in time, maybe on Cynthia's return. We will start out. We will continue.
Read someone's in memoriam and be like, "Oh yes, April Summers, most famous for dying 2 days ago."
It's like,
yes,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that we all remember that.
Sums it up.
So David, with his 2-point lead, will lead for the rest of this game, giving Cynthia a chance to choose one of the other 2 answers in order to catch up. So David, you'll be going first here. Lisa Robin Kelly. Lisa Robin Kelly, Sky, Fly, or Die?
Me first?
Yes, David.
I've gone for Sky and I've gone for Fly. I'm going to go for Die.
He goes for Die on this one. Cynthia, which do you choose, Sky, Fly, or Die?
I'm going to say Sky because I don't think women are allowed to fly planes, so...
Amelia Earhart would say, hold my beer. My goodness. All right. Well, Lisa Robin Kelly, fans of That 70s Show know this lady needs no introduction. She was, of course, Eric Foreman's drop-dead gorgeous sister Lori in the hit show, who Kelso took quite a shining to, if you recall. Given the success of her fellow cast members, it's safe to say the future looked bright for Lisa, but unfortunately her personal troubles got in the way of any success she had.
And she chose to fly a plane?
And the actress passed away in 2013 with her death ruled as, quote-unquote, multiple drug intoxication. Die was the correct answer here. Hoffman does take the point. A 3-0, going for the clean sweep. Cynthia, you cannot win.
I know, this is bad.
We are still working for respectability here. Going back to David for number 4. Number 4, David. Harold Ramis. Harold
Hmm.
Ramis.
Harold Ramis. I've heard
Sky,
this
fly,
name.
or die.
I've heard this name, which would tell me that it's probably not a famous skydiver or a pilot. So I'm going to go with die. I'm going to go, this is a dead person.
Okay. Cynthia, where do you go?
I'm going to go with fly.
She's going to go with fly, a famous pilot. The Ghostbusters star died in 2014, aged 70, after a long battle with an autoimmune inflammatory disease. The famous writer and director also had roles in Caddyshack, Groundhog Day, and Analyze This. We'll have to raise a glass to him the next time we watch Ghostbusters for the 300th time, but he is indeed on the die list. David,
Do you
are
think he was
4-0.
like the next starring ghost in Ghostbusters?
Yes, he did. Yes, he came
Oh.
back posthumously. So, going for the clean sweep here, David. The clean sweep. We'll start with you here first. James H. Doolittle. Sky, fly, or die?
Dr. Doolittle?
You know, I really don't know James H. Doolittle.
Yeah, don't you forget
don't
that
know.
H. James
I
H.
don't know.
Doolittle.
I really don't. It could very well be a dead person. But I would love it if that were the name of a pilot, because I would love to hear, hello, ladies and gentlemen, this is your pilot speaking, James H. Doolittle. We are cruising at 33,000 feet. That's, once again, my name is Doolittle, just like the doctor.
He emphasizes his name once again.
Yeah.
Doolittle.
Well, wouldn't you emphasize Doolittle if your name was Doolittle?
Cynthia, are you going to follow him in pursuit of the clean sweep, or are you going to go elsewhere?
You know, I'm gonna go with die for this one.
James H. Doolittle is indeed dead. But now here is a pilot
bad.
unlike any other on this list. Age 15, Doolittle built a wooden fabric glider, jumped off a cliff, and crashed. This would be the first of at least half a dozen crashes he would sustain over the years. With such a spirit, of course, he would go on to join the U.S. Air Force, where his service would intersect with some of the most iconic moments in the history of aviation. Doolittle is most famous for proving that pilots could fly at night and in harsh weather. The Daredevil took up air racing and was one of the first pilots to fly from takeoff to landing, while only referring to instruments, and in 1932 set the world's land plane speed record. So he is indeed on the fly list, meaning, David, you've accomplished the clean sweep. Congratulations.
That is a good feeling. I don't know if it's my first or my second clean sweep ever, but I'm feeling real good about it.
Are we 3 episodes in a row
I
with a
think
clean
so.
sweep?
I think so.
We can't say it's a rarity anymore. My God, look at that.
It's just a fluke at this point. Like 3 in a row is crazy.
It's run
But
of the
I
mill.
will say, credit to Cynthia. She did pick out a couple dead people and didn't get any points for that.
I did.
So
I
That
feel
is
bad
true.
that I cheered about Doolittle's death over here, but you know, I
It's
thought
also-
that was the answer. Got excited.
it's also bitterly disappointing that Captain Doolittle or Pilot Doolittle was not a captain of a commercial plane and therefore never made any announcements. So, but so be it. I got the clean sweep.
Would you two like to play the tiebreaker? See if David, if you can make it six points,
Sure, why not?
just for funsies.
For funsies.
All right, Cynthia. Since in some pseudo world multiverse of madness, you would have been the one to force the tie, we will have you go first for this tiebreaker. I've listed 5 names during this game. Once again, that is Colby Kaye, Charles Lindbergh, Lisa Robin Kelly, Harold Ramis, James H. Doolittle. 4 of whom are dead currently at this point in time. Could change in the future. I want you to give me the combined age of all 5 people, with Colby Kaye aged as of right now, August 1st, 2022, and the rest aged at the time of their death. The combined age of all 5. Now, granted, I gave you one age if you listened closely, but what are the total combined ages of all 5? Cynthia, we'll start with you. Take your time.
Can we put Jeopardy music in this part?
Sorry, I'll do it as Doolittle. Doolittle. My name's Doolittle, and you're
I
gonna
hope
be
we don't have to
landing
pay
soon.
for this. Phil.
No, not if I put my own lyrics on it. That's how monetary restrictions work.
Mm-hmm. Copyright law expert, are you?
Yeah, yes, exquisitely. Cynthia.
All right. I'm thinking. So if I'm going with an average of like 60, 70 years per person.
Okay.
So that times 5. I don't know. I'm bad at math. It's going to be like 527.
Yes,
Yeah.
60, 70 times 5 is 300 or 350, but 527 would be about there. Yes, okay.
You know, some of these people could have lived to be super old. You never know.
Absolutely. There's got to be at least 150-year-old.
They're averaging
Actually,
what, like 100 years?
102 years? David, could we possibly give her a mulligan? I mean,
I think so. Do you want to try it again, Cynthia?
that's a pretty easy under there.
That's embarrassing. Okay, so we're gonna go back. We're gonna go back in time a little here. I'm gonna go with a solid. We're gonna do a fun number. We're gonna do like 369. Solid.
369.
369. Love it.
Very,
Lucky
very
numbers
fun.
right
Okay.
there.
I'm confident that it would be less than 300. So I'm not even going to go 368. I'm just going to go 299.
Colby Kaye, still with us, is aged 37. Charles Lindbergh died at the age of 72. Lisa Robin Kelly died at the young age of 43. Harold Ramis died at the age of 70. And James H. Doolittle, bringing up the rear, died at 96, the closest to the closest to Cynthia's 100-year mark and average for everybody here. And the total number combined for those of you who are not mathematicians scoring at home is 318, meaning that David did indeed come frighteningly close with an age of 299 combined for them. David, if there was 6 points to be had, you would have scored all 6. It is scary, very scary how good you were at this game. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That is a very well prepared game, very fun theme. Mine is a little bit more all over the place and a little looser with the categories, but we should have a good amount of fun anyway. So I'm going to give you a thing and you're going to tell me what it is based on 3 options. Okay. All right, so let's start out. Cynthia, we're going to you first. Question 1, what is a Chapman stick? Chapman stick, a Chapman stick. Is it A, a throwing weapon from rural Canada similar to an Australian boomerang? B, a stick-shaped guitar-like string instrument? Or C, a colloquial legal term referring to someone representing themselves in a court case after refusing counsel? So, a Canadian throwing weapon, a guitar-like string instrument, or a legal term describing someone who's representing themselves in court.
You know, I feel like I've watched enough Better Call Saul that I would have heard Chapman stick in there. So I don't think it's an instrument. I'm going to go with the first one. Canadians do be having weird things up there.
Yep. Okay. They do be having weird things.
They do be having weird things.
Phil, you are muted.
I like the circles of your chapstick, though.
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, thank you. You guys caught me in the middle of my chapstick session. Now, what was the word I'm looking for here, David?
Chapman stick.
Ah, yes.
That's what he's using.
The glorious Chapman stick. I'm going to actually say, for reverse reasons, that sounds oddly familiar. So therefore, I have to go with the option of one representing themselves, because I'm sure some guy named Harold Chapman just totally stuck it up his own by saying, I'm going to represent myself. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
You both. One of you goes with A. Cynthia, you say throwing weapon from rural Canada. Phil, you say C, a colloquial legal term referring to someone representing themselves in a court case after refusing counsel. The correct answer is B, so neither of you get it right.
Split the cheeks.
It is a stick-shaped, guitar-like string instrument, and it sounds pretty cool. Look it up, a Chapman stick. It's like 10 to 12 strings. Very, very cool. All right, no points as of yet. So question 2, Phil, we're going to you first. What is a bone phone? And let me just clarify, this is spelled B-O-N-E. F-O-N-E, bone phone. Is it A, a speaker that the user wears in order to feel the sound in their bones?
Ooh.
B, a medical imaging device that uses vibrations to detect fractures? Or C, a phone in the shape of a dog bone?
God, I hope it's that last one.
Wow. Congratulations. I don't know if you completely made up the other two. I'd assume you did. They are all equally as plausible, meaning that they're all implausible, but they are all equally plausible. So congratulations. What was A?
A was a speaker
Oh,
that
that's right.
that the user wears in order to feel the sound in their bones.
I think for that, it would be a little more eloquent. If it was something like that, it would be a little more eloquent than an F for phone. So I'm going to say that something as corny as a phone that looks like a bone would then have the lack of self-awareness to then say, let's go full hokey and go bone phone with an F because it's just fun. So I'm going to go option C yet again.
The logic is sound. Get it? Sound, phone. Cynthia?
Knee slapper. Good job, David.
Thanks.
I don't think the medical field is looking for words that bad that they're making bone phone into a medical thing.
Yeah, B
here.
was a complete throw out for me as well.
The first one, to hear the sound in your bones? Is that what you said? Sound in your bones?
To feel the music in your bones, yeah.
I was expecting one of the options to be when Tinder's not working. You just pick up the bone phone.
Not the bone phone. I'm gonna say C as well. I feel like that is something that would, I don't know. I would buy it, you know?
C, the obvious choice, a phone in the shape of a dog bone. I feel like that probably exists. I made it up, though. The correct answer is A, a speaker that the user wears like around your neck. It was like a radio.
Yeah.
It's like from like 40 years ago. It's like a radio thing, a receiver that had like a speaker, and you wear it around your neck. And it's supposed to like make you feel the music in your bones. Anyway, that exists or existed. So still no points. We move on to question 3. Phil, I will remind you now, you have a skipping stone, so you can skip one of these questions if you want to.
Thank you.
What does stone pine refer to? Is it A, a punk rock band active between 2001 and 2005? B, an early smartwatch prototype from around 2013? Or C, a type of pine tree found in southern Europe on the Mediterranean? Cynthia, we're going to you first.
What's the word?
Stone pine.
Stone pine.
Again, a punk rock band, early smartwatch prototype, or a pine tree?
I feel stone pine. I feel like since you really dropped dates, like, you know, a punk rock band between these years, that's a little specific. So I'm thinking that might be, I'm feeling like that might be the one. Stone pine, like I could totally see that. I'm going to go with that one. A1, whatever.
Punk rock band, but active between 2001 and 2005.
Yeah, see,
Phil.
that's too specific for it to not be that.
My problem is that the first one and the last one especially, makes too much sense. So I can't go with the obvious answer as the first two have gone. So but number 2 is so stupid. Why would it? But I guess if you'd have said like in the 1990s, hey, we're gonna have a phone and it's gonna be called an Apple phone, people will be like, what the hell is that? So I'm gonna go with some artsy fartsy person, probably the guy who now names Amazon lockers like Echo and Indigo and all that stuff, went to first tout his wares with the stone pine for a smartphone prototype.
A smartwatch prototype.
Smartwatch, excuse me, yes.
Cynthia, you went with punk rock band. Phil, you went with early smartwatch prototype. I made up the punk rock band.
Okay, that's kind of
active between 2001 and 2005.
Nonsense. So those details in there screw me up.
There was indeed a early smartwatch prototype, which was called Neptune pine.
God damn it!
A stone pine is a type of pine tree found in southern Europe on the Mediterranean.
Sorry, not all of us are like European. No. We don't know.
Okay.
It made too much sense. I couldn't go with that. That sounded like something you'd make up.
Question 4. Phil, we're going to you first. What is a Versa? Is it A, a car model from Nissan? B, a car model from Audi? Or C, a brand of ceramic kitchenware?
What was A again?
a car model from Nissan.
Oh, you
Nissan?
bastard.
You call it Nissan?
Nissan.
Nissan.
Who
Is
says
that what
Nissan?
that's what Americans
Nissan?
call, right?
Yeah.
Nissan.
Nissan, yeah.
It's like
Is
you
it a
and
Nissan Versa,
you
an
and your-
Audi Versa, or I love my new Versa frying pan. Or you could skip.
Neither one of us have a point. And this is number 4 for us?
This is number 4.
we're doing great.
I think I'm going to go with Audi, not an innie.
Okay, Audi. Cynthia.
I don't want to like say the same thing but I think it is. I want to
Feel
do
free.
I know, but then it's like if we both get it, now we're just tied again. But at least
Still just tied
at least
at
you'd
1,
be
yeah.
tied at 1 instead of
Troubling
0.
conundrum.
I'm gonna go
It's a
with
troubling conundrum.
I'm gonna go with B.
You're going to go with B.
Yeah. Plus, I don't like how you say Nissan.
A Versa
Nissan.
is actually the car that I own in the United States, and it is not an Audi. It is a Nissan.
Why do you say it like that?
So you both have 0 points
Ew.
again. Oh my goodness. Because that's how it's spelled. Nissan. Nissan.
It's like you and saying
That's
basil
how you say it everywhere else in the world.
instead of
Bagel.
basil.
In the
Basil.
English-speaking world, at least.
Basil.
Basil?
Knife.
Basil.
Knife.
Basil,
Basil.
indeed. It's super not
Arkansas.
basil.
Okay,
Sorry.
I was down for
Right.
basil. I was down until I got mad at you. Then it was basil again. Sorry.
Yeah. All right, question 5. What is a water buck? Is it A, a marine mammal with an overgrown tooth that resembles a horn?
Oh.
B, the currency used by the characters in the movie Shark Tale? Or C, a type of antelope found in Africa? And we're back to Cynthia first, unless Phil decides to skip.
The problem with these skipping stones is that I actually feel like every time I've known it, every time I'm like, yeah, this sounds right. This sounds good. And I still feel that way with this last one. I'm not going to skip.
Okay. Cynthia.
I'm gonna go with the third one.
My first thought was
So, the
that
third one, it was a C, a type of antelope found in Africa.
there is no way in hell you are creative enough to come up with the monstrosity of an overgrown tooth that can be mistaken as an antler. There is no goddamn way. I don't care if it's your birthday. You are not that creative. That is something straight out of a monster novel. We're going with option A for the dub.
Option A.
Option A. Option square. I don't care what you call it. We're going for the win.
A marine mammal with an overgrown tooth that resembles
Oh,
a
this
horn
is
is
not
called a
good.
narwhal.
You shut your ass! Damn it!
Yeah, I was like, is that just
The
not a
currency
narwhal?
water buck sounded like it could have been the currency used by the characters in the movie Shark Tale. But Cynthia,
You need to.
you got a point
No!
at the death on the last play of the game.
Got 1
A
point.
type of antelope found in Africa. Yes, a water buck.
Oh yeah,
You
water
did it!
buck.
You beat him by the thinnest of margins and with the worst possible score that could possibly be a winning score. You beat Phil.
I did it.
1
I will
point to
take
0.
that one. Oh, I'm proud of myself.
Absolutely, you should. A type of antelope found in Africa. Okay, just for funsies, we're going to do my skip question, the one extra one I had prepared. Cynthia, you have one. That is not in question at all. This is just for fun. Who is Bjorn Goran Eriksson? Is he A, the man who invented the parachute?
Oh, this is awful.
B, the man who invented the bungee cord?
Ooh.
Or C, the coach of the South African national rugby team? Phil, we'll go to you first.
Oh, I go first? It's going to be
Yes, you
C,
do.
Bjorn.
C,
C, rugby.
the rugby one, okay. Cynthia.
I as well was going to go with C. I feel like parachutes were not. I don't know who invented parachutes, but it doesn't sound like he would have invented a parachute. I was going to go with C as well. I know you like your rugby, and kind of a loop question. We have the 2 sports, the skydiving, the bungee jumping, and then rugby, you know. Seems a little out there, so I'm going to go with that one.
The head coach of the South African national rugby team is Jacques Nienaber. Bjorn Goran Eriksson is from Sweden, and he invented the bungee cord.
Why have I heard that name before? I swear.
I don't know. Bjorn
I've
Goran
heard-
Eriksson?
I heard the name before. That's why I was like, it has to be rugby because that's the only one I haven't heard of.
No.
Why would I have heard of the bungee cord creator?
He's not even from South Africa. He might have never even been to South Africa.
It sounded familiar. Wow. Okay. Well, either way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, congratulations, Bjorn. You've saved many lives of people jumping off high places.
Yeah, saved many lives. More like enabled a bunch of people to put their lives at risk. Because saving lives, like there's no firefighter like, we got to get that cat down in the well. Send me in. Like,
Wow.
Saving lives is a bit egregious.
He kept just seeing,
Okay,
he
well,
just kept
anyway.
seeing people jumping off. He's like, I'm going to do something about this one.
Yeah,
Wow.
you know, necessity is the mother of invention. He stepped up.
Jumped in, more likely.
Cynthia, it's been an absolute hoot having you. I think that goes
A
without
hoot
saying.
and a
We've had an
holler. Thank you.
absolute whale of a time.
A narwhal.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your skydiving experiences with us. I think we all found that really interesting and it's troubling as well. And for playing a fun game with us. I know you're not exactly going to promote skydiving, or maybe you are, but if there is anything you want to promote before you leave to our many listeners, now would be your chance to do that.
Go skydiving. That's it. You're right. I was going to promote skydiving. Absolutely. Everyone should do it.
All right, well, give it a go. Jump out of a plane.
Give it a go.
Find the nearest plane to you and jump out of it.
You don't even need a parachute. Just go. Just jump.
I want to address that. You know when people say like jumping out of a perfectly good plane? I would rather jump out of a perfectly good plane than a plane that's crashing.
Right? That's
Don't you
on
think?
fire. You're like,
Anyway.
puts a little
Food
pressure
for
on.
thought. Food for thought. All right. Thank you, Cynthia. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. And with that win, David has yet again tied it up for the entire game, 10 and 11 for both me and David. We cannot get out of this conundrum. That slaps.
That slaps.
Ooh, we love this part of the show where we come to you for all of your cinematic, your entertainment needs. And David, since we just discussed your birthday, why don't we go to you first? What is slapping you currently?
So I wanted to go on theme this week, and I had the choice between something birthday related or something skydive related. What do you think I went with, Phil?
I think you chose the cake as you always do.
Meaning birthday.
Meaning
birthday.
birthday.
You're wrong. No, I actually had the song. This is a song that I've been listening to the last few weeks. I jammed to it. It's a lot of fun. More indie rock, you know me.
Mm-hmm.
And it is called Fly by Cemetery Sun.
Ooh.
Yeah, there you go. Huh? And the chorus goes, "You make me want to fly." And I'm sure that there's lots and lots of things that have driven Cynthia to make her want to continuously jump out of aircraft and fly, so to speak. So Fly by Cemetery Sun, it slaps.
Look at you going on theme. You're inspiring me. Next week, I'm going to be going on theme. Or next time we do that, slaps. Look, 99 Corolla by Medium Build is my That Slaps this week. It's a song. It's got a solid bass and a new beat, and a beat that is new for me, at least I should say. It just was discovered by me this week. Me and me alone. I'm the first person ever to listen to it. And now I want you, yes, you the listener, to listen to it. I even think, and dare say, Hoffman, I think you might enjoy this. It's kind of up your vibe. So I will say 99 Corolla by Medium Build. That slaps.
And we bring the podcast to a close, as we have to do each and every week. Reluctantly, we'd love to keep talking, of course, because, you know, we love the sound of our own voices.
Of course.
But before we end here, we'd like to thank a few special people. First of all, to my parents for being the reason that I'm here. Yeah, birthing me, and my mom especially birthing me and raising me and getting me to these 20-something years that I've been alive. And more in relation to the podcast, Jake Corlang and Cass and Crossland for the music that you hear on the show. We love you guys.
Yes, I too want to be thanking Mrs. Hoffman for giving us the gift that is David. Keep on giving. Thank you so much. As well as Tara Armstead, Josh Hans, and Ryan Ardell. Without you guys, this podcast would not be possible, simply put.
And more than anything, thank you to you, the listener, for tuning in this week, and hopefully even more weeks. We will be out again next week with another episode. Each and every week we try to bring you some exciting content, so spread the word, tell your friends. We're on Instagram at @POWWOW_podcast. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple Podcasts. We're just about anywhere where you find your favorite podcasts, except for Pandora, because screw you, Pandora.
If you look over there, the wild water buck is ensuing its natural predator, the bear.